Good afternoon. My name is Magda Fernandez. I am the Chief of the San Diego Harbor Police. Today, we are here to talk about the Port of San Diego Harbor Police military equipment use policies and procedures. Today, you will be hearing from Lieutenant Raul Munoz, who is in charge of this military equipment use policies and procedures. And he's going to present to you our policy, our equipment list, and everything that is associated with this. Lieutenant Munoz?
Thank you, Chief. As a reminder, this is a recording that will be posted on the Port of San Diego Harbor Police website. So you can take a look and peruse at your leisure. We also have QR codes and links listed below for not only the policy 712, as well as our HPD equipment list. We did have hard copies here. If anybody showed in person at this time, we do not, but we will proceed with the presentation. Just some background on it. Why does the Harbor Police need this equipment? Good question. The simple answer is to protect life and safeguard the community. Even before we start there, an understanding that we already had much of this equipment to begin with. It's just something we didn't, quite frankly, it wasn't required to post anywhere. Sacramento, we'll get into that. There was a couple Senate bills that required us to do so. So Harbor Police, every year, we'll give a presentation to kind of note those things and answer any questions if there are them. We also have this equipment to de-escalate and bring a safe resolution to critical incidents, to properly equip our officers so they can safely perform their jobs. What is military equipment? That's a good question. Best definition, commonly used police equipment that was redefined by the California State Legislature under AB 481. This includes command vehicles, drones, less lethal tools, and other equipment already used by HPD. None of the equipment used by HPD was obtained from the military, and we do not participate in the federal 1033 surplus military equipment program. We'll get into some details about that so you understand what program that is. The AB 481 background, introduced to the California Senate in early 2021, passed in September of 2021. The author was Senator David Chu. Currently, he's still the San Francisco Attorney General. It really modified an existing law, which was Government Code 770 through 775. It was designed to create more transparency in law enforcement. And that's really the crux of what we're doing here today. That way, all the public can see each piece of equipment that law enforcement does carry. Some background as to what the 7701, again, this is just reading through the actual code itself. 7071A1, a law enforcement agency shall obtain approval of the governing body by an ordinance adopting a military equipment use policy at a regular meeting of the governing body prior to the engagement in any of the following. A, requesting military equipment made available pursuant to section 2576A of Title 10 of the United States Code. B, seeking funds for military equipment, including but not limited to applying for a grant, soliciting or accepting private, local, state, and federal funds, in-kind donations or other donations or transfers. C, acquiring military equipment either permanent or temporarily, including by borrowing or leasing. Military equipment as defined in the California State Assembly Bill, AB 41, Government Code 770. Any unmanned, remote piloted, powered aerial or ground vehicles, more commonly known as drones or small robots. That is the one piece of equipment that we have increased from last year. Again, much of this list is going to be identical, but we did increase some of our drone capabilities. They have updated models, more capabilities. So when you go read that actual list, you'll see some of the updates in the drone. Armored personnel carriers. This is more commonly known as a Bearcat or rescue vehicle. HPD does possess one Bearcat vehicle. It is marked with police, rescue, San Diego Harbor Police. So it is known that is a HPD Port of San Diego vehicle. That well-protected vehicle can get us into situations, hostage rescues, anywhere there's a critical incident where we need armor to protect not only our officers, but citizens that we are going to rescue, depending on the situation. So Very commonly used piece of equipment. It is not just for the Port of San Diego Harbor Police, but it is a countywide resource. A lot of mutual aid calls. Other agencies will help each other out. They will bring their rescue vehicles, whatever equipment's asked for. Humvee type vehicles, it's listed here. We do not have a Humvee type vehicle, but these are the type of vehicles pieces of equipment they want us to list. So you know if we have or do not have. Tracked armored vehicles does not apply to HPD, do not have. Command and control vehicles. We do have a command van of sorts, if you can imagine, kind of like a roving headquarters, has computer terminals, monitors, other pieces of equipment, charging stations, everything you would need for police radios in case there needs to be a mobile incident command post. Again, very common for all law enforcement agencies. The short version is it's a long van equipped with quite a bit of equipment. Weaponized aircraft. HPD does not possess any weaponized aircraft. Battering rams, slugs, and breaching apparatuses that are explosive in nature, not applicable to HPD. Again, we do not have any breaching apparatuses that are explosive in nature. We do have breaching equipment that our SWAT team uses, but that is not, falls under the 481. Those are more tools. Firearms of 50 caliber or greater, another not applicable to HPD. We do not have 50 cal or greater. Those tend to be those larger rifles. HPD does not possess those. Ammunition of 50 cal or greater. However, standard issue shotgun ammunition is specifically excluded from this definition. Just to note that the shotgun ammo does not need to be noted of the shotgun itself. Again, a commonly used for many years of all law enforcement agencies. We just noted it here so you know where it falls, but it actually doesn't have to be listed under AB 41. Almost too common of a weapon. Specialized firearms and ammunition of less than 50 caliber, including assault rifles as defined by section 30510 and 30515 of the Penal Code, except for standard issue service weapons and ammunition of less than 50 caliber that are issued to sworn members. Those are your handguns, again, common tools that each officer is issued out. But again, they are always going to give you a reference section so you can go and see the definitive list of each of these weapons, what it falls under. Any firearm or firearm accessory that is designated to launch explosive projectiles, that is not applicable. We do not have here at HPD. There is no launching explosive projectiles. We'll get into the type of less lethal options that we do have, but to define the difference, nothing in an explosive nature. 12, flashbang grenades and explosive breaching tools, tear gas, and pepper balls, including standard service issued handheld OC. This we do have. Flashbang is a diversionary device. It's kind of, it is thrown with a pin. After a couple second delay, it will make a loud sound with some concussive effects to it. And that is to create a diversion to whatever situation you are, attending to at that time. We do carry quite a few of those. Again, those particular ones and manufacturers are all listed in our equipment list. There's even websites where you can go and research to see further details on the specifics of the manufacturing of those things. Again, where we buy ours from. Pepper balls, it's almost like a mini OC spray. It's in a pepper ball. It's launched from a CO2 canister. It's an irritant to the eye. Folks carry OC on their belts. That's a common use things, but this is a small round projectile shot from a pepper ball gun, again with a CO2 cartridge, and it will create that irritant to the eye. Again, these are not to be, there's much training for using these that all of our officers go through. We do carry those. They're accessible to all of our officers. Long-range acoustic device, commonly known as an LRAD. That is a, lack of a better term, a loudspeaker that has a very disruptive, not only you could just speak loudly on it to have your voice projected, but it does have sounds that can be extremely irritating to large crowds, riots, things like that. There are rules and protocols when we can use those and cannot. Usually it needs a supervisor recommendation to do so. So again, we have policies on how we use any and all of this equipment. But again, that is the LRAD, if you hear it, long range acoustic device. We have our 40 millimeter projectile launchers, aka beanbags, and specialty impact munitions, SIM weapons. The 40mm projectile launchers, those are larger rounds. They do not explode. If they impact, they are meant to cause, discomfort, pain. That is not explosive in nature. It is a large shooting device. We do have those. Anything, by the way, that we do use is listed in our usage policy for every year, or list, which again is available on the website. You can take a look there. That is your 40mm, sometimes known as 40 mic. Hear it that way. Any other equipment as determined by a governing body or a state agency to require additional oversight. So again, this is not limited to, but this is much of the stuff that HPD does have. AB 41 continued. Again, I'm just going to read the verbiage here. No later than May 1st, 2023, a law enforcement agency seeking to continue the use of any military equipment that was acquired prior to January 1st, 2022, shall commence a governing body approval process in accordance with the section. The law enforcement agency shall submit a proposed military equipment use policy to the governing body and make those documents available on the law enforcement agency's website at least 30 days prior to any public hearing concerning the military equipment at use. If you go to the Port of San Diego Harbor Police, there's a section that says transparency and accountability. Click onto that. All of the AV bills are going to be a link that you can click on. And our Port of San Diego Police military equipment list is the one where you actually can see and go through every piece of military equipment that HPD has for that year. Again, go to the Port website, San Diego Harbor Police Accountability and Transparency, and you'll see the link there. But much of this information we're speaking about today is found on that webpage. The governing body shall review any ordinance that it has adopted pursuant to the section approving the funding, acquisition, or use of military equipment at least annually, and subject to paragraph 2, vote on whether to renew the ordinance at a regular meeting. We have our Board of Port Commissioners that do meet and decide whether to renew the ordinance, which we have done this year. 41 continued. Additional military equipment procedure must allow for annual use reporting. We talked about the usage list, complaint audit process for misuse, total cost of program for agency. Again, if you go actually look at the list, it does give the financials, all the cost of each of these items, quantities, all of that. It's in full view for any citizen or person to take a look at. The quantity possessed of each item and the quantity sought for any new or replaced item. Meaning if we know we need replacements like ammunition, shotguns that are getting old, handguns, we're going to note all of those things. So, it's just not a new gun being purchased, it's to replace an old one that is either not working or just can't be used any longer. Government Code Section 7072A1 through A6. That's where you can reference that. This is normally where we would go to the question portion. There was nobody that attended and there was nothing submitted for questions. But to kind of wrap it up, again, we here at the San Diego Harbor Police want full transparency. We want folks to come take a look. We often display a lot of this equipment when we do, benefits, things that we do with the public. A lot of this is actually on display for you to come take a look, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. We're very approachable. We like talking with the public, getting their feedback. And since we don't have any questions, Chief Geary, do you have anything to add to this presentation?
Nothing to add. Again, all this information is available on our website. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to us via our website or any of the phone numbers listed there. And we would absolutely entertain any future questions.
My name again is Lieutenant Raul Munoz with the San Diego Harbor Police. If you need to reach out to me, I do have an email address, but anything can be asked to the port as well, and we'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you very much.